All right, everybody. It is Steelers week, week 11, big matchup versus the Steelers for the Browns here. You already know that I have to give you my preview and my predictions for this game. Look, this is a big game. Look, the Browns win. A lot of things could flip in the AFC playoff picture in the wild card, and a lot of things could flip in the AFC North. If they lose, same thing could be said, but in a negative way, everybody. So, look, without further ado, let's just get into the preview and predictions for this game. Let's go ahead and start with the defensive game plan. What do I feel the Browns have to do in this game to give themselves the best chance to win versus Pittsburgh? Look, obviously, it is a two-sided thing. Offense has to play well, defense also has to play well, but I feel like that the defense really does kind of decide a lot of what the Browns are going to do this season, but also in this game. So without further ado, let's just get to what I think the defense has to do to win this game versus Pittsburgh. One, I think it is play really good man coverage. I'll get into why that is so important for this team later in this video, but just know that they do have to lock down on man coverage, and the Browns play a lot of man coverage. So look, I'll just give you a sneak peek on what I'm going to say later in this video, but I think because they play a lot of man coverage, things are going to bode well for them in this game. Two, I think they have to get pressure. Three, I think they have to stop and execute on stopping short and intermediate passing routes. I think they have to do well stopping the run. I also think they do have to set the edge, set the outside, and get in the backfield. So that's the game plan that I think the Browns defense really needs to execute to win this game. But what do the Steelers like to do? What do the Steelers like to do to beat you? And are the Browns equipped to execute their game plan and limit what the Steelers love to do? Now, number one, what do the Steelers want to do? They want to run the ball, and they want to run the ball well. Now, the last 2 weeks, the Steelers have had success running the ball, and that's been a large reason of why they've been able to win games. Another reason why they've been able to win games is because they've been able to establish some success in getting the short and intermediate routes, but there's a way to stop it. And I'm going to name that in a little bit. But the Steelers also want to get those short and intermediate routes. But why do they want to get those type of things? Why do they want to run the ball? Why do they want to get the short and intermediate routes? And one thing I forgot to name, they like to get Kenny Pickett and the offensive line outside the pocket, so it makes it less easier for the opposing defense to get pressure on you, because when Kenny Pickett is in the face of pressure in the pocket, you don't always know what to do. So those are the three things that the Steelers really want to do. But why do they want to do it? What is the Steelers' goal in getting all these things done that they want to get done? It's because the Steelers want to continue to get themselves in second and short and third and short situations. And that is because they're a limited passing game. I mean, we all know that they are not necessarily an explosive play team. So they want to put themselves in position to have good yards to gain left in their later downs. They want to make it easier on themselves, and to make it easier on themselves and get in those second and five and third and five and under situations, they have to be able to, in early downs and first and second down, capitalize on getting like 4 or 5 yards on short passing plays and being able to get 4 to 5 to 6 yards per carry in the run game. So that's what the Steelers want to do. They want to set themselves up in really second and medium and third and short situations. Now, are the Browns equipped to stop this? Anybody with a true knowledge of the game will say yes. The Browns do have what it takes to stop this. And I believe they showed that in week 2. Although they lost that game, the defense was not the sole reason they lost that game. I would argue that they're not the reason at all they lost that game. The Browns do really well at stopping what the Steelers really want to do, and that is get the short and intermediate passing game done. That is establish their run game so that the Steelers can establish the play action pass and establish some more things in the medium passing game. The Browns are really good at setting the edge and getting outside and getting pressure on the quarterback and stopping short and intermediate plays when the quarterback is outside the pocket and the offensive line moves because the Browns play a wide nine system. So, ladies and gentlemen, why did I name man coverage as a key thing the Browns need to do in this game at the beginning of the video? Here's why. In order to stop the intermediate and short routes for the Steelers, which they really like to do to set up the third and short and second and medium situations, and also really get yak after completing the short and intermediate passes, you really need to play really good man coverage to stop those things. Because if you give them no space near the line of scrimmage to be able to make those plays and force incompletions on those short and intermediate routes by playing good man coverage, which the Browns really do really, really well, then you put yourself in a good position to get the Steelers not only behind the sticks, but get them in situations that they don't like, which is 2nd and 10, 3rd and 7 plus, 3rd and long, 3rd and medium. They don't like to be in those situations because their passing offense is not good in that situation. They're limited in those type of situations. So to put them in those situations, stop them intermediate, stop them in the short passes. And the Browns are equipped to do that because of their man coverage, because they are the best team at playing man coverage in the league. They play the most man coverage in the league. And because they can do that, they are really good at stopping what the Steelers want to do offensively. I don't want to see a lot of zone in this game. I want to see the Browns commit to their identity in doing what they really like to do. That is play man coverage and also play well versus the run. What do the Steelers also like to do? Run. What are the Browns also really good at doing? One of the best teams in the league at doing. Stopping the run, which the Steelers also like to do to get in 3rd and short and 2nd and medium situations. Run the ball. If the Browns can stop the run, prevent the Steelers from setting up play action, prevent the Steelers from getting them in situations where they have to debate, do we want to play the run or do we want to play the pass versus the Steelers? Go ahead and stop the run. And to stop them from getting in those 3rd and short and 2nd and medium situations, you have to go ahead and not only lock down on man coverage and not give the Steelers space to capitalize on anything short or get yards at the contact after those short and intermediate completions. You have to be able to play good man coverage, and you have to be able to stop the run so you don't allow them to get in those situations that they like to get into. So I believe that because they can play good, long, drawn-out man coverage, makes the quarterback and Kenny Pickett have to take a long time to be able to find his receiver, that allows your defensive line to get pressure because you play good man coverage. It allows you to get sacks and get them behind the sticks and get Kenny Pickett in situations in the pocket that he does not like to be into. So that's the Browns' game plan. Play good man coverage and stop the run so you can get the Steelers in situations that they do not like being in, which is being in 3rd and 7 and longer situations, or being in situations like 2nd and 8 plus, because they can't really do it. They're a limited offense. So if you can do that, things bode well for you in winning the game. So get pressure, stop the run, play good man coverage, stop the short and intermediate routes, and then also set the edge, set the outside, protect the outside, because we know that the Steelers do like to move the pocket, everybody. So for me, that is the Browns' defensive game plan. And I think because of their personnel, because they have Myles Garrett, who I think will dominate the defensive line along with the rest of the Browns' defensive line. I think the Browns' defensive line versus the Steelers' O-line is a really good matchup in this one. And I think they got a lot of pressures last time. I think they'll be able to do that again, especially with the interior and Myles and Zadarius and Agbo Okoronkwo. The linebackers are fast enough to prevent the Steelers from getting these outside the pocket plays. And then Denzel, Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome, they're good enough in man coverage, as they prove in the whole season, that they can stop those short and intermediate routes. So personnel-wise, the Browns got it. You will see the Steelers make some plays with George Pickens in man coverage because George Pickens is just that good. Deontay Johnson's also good versus man coverage. So you may see some plays be made, but because the Browns are so good in that area when it comes to personnel and just execution, especially on 3rd down, when the Steelers offense also is not good on 3rd down, you're going to see them capitalize versus the Steelers offense more often than not. So look, that's the game plan for them defensively. And I think they're in a great position to capitalize on that. Now let's move on to the offense, though. The offense, you could also argue that they've got a big part. Even though the defense is really good, we saw that the Browns offense kind of lost them the game last time. And a Steelers fan might say, well, oh, we beat them with Deshaun. They got DTR out there now. We could definitely beat them with DTR out there, given what he did versus the Ravens. Well, DTR is in a better preparation situation now, given that he knows he's the starter. DTR had a full week of reps with the first team, and the game plan is built around him now with the coach that knows how to manage pedestrian quarterbacks in Kevin Stefanski. But look, one of the things that Steelers fans may feel really optimistic about in this game for their defense is the turnovers. They were able to get turnovers in the last game versus Deshaun Watson, and they know that DTR proved in the Ravens game that he can and he is capable of turning the ball over a lot. And the Steelers defense, one of the things they rely on, because they're not totally great in a lot of things as a defense, is getting turnovers. So they're coming into this game hyped because they're facing DTR. Look, you won't blame them, because what they seen would give them optimism that they could get turnovers in this game. But here's why I don't think that's really going to happen for them. DTR forces the Browns to be more cautious with the ball. With Deshaun Watson, you're going to take more chances for more high rewards. But in a situation like that, where you're taking more chances for high rewards, it means the risk is higher. So you might turn the ball over more. You might have more picks and interceptions. The Browns aren't going to put DTR in those type of situations because they know he's limited. So they're going to be way more cautious with turnovers. So that's why I don't really think we're going to see a ton of Browns turnovers in this game. Now, DTR, he is a rookie. This is only his second start, so maybe we could see some things. But I think because of Kevin Stefanski's ability to manage pedestrian quarterbacks and knowing that they're probably going to be more cautious with the ball in this game, I don't expect turnovers to really hurt the Browns in this game, because I trust Kevin Stefanski to manage them, knowing he's been in situations with pedestrian quarterbacks before and has been able to manage their turnovers. Now, what's the game plan for the Browns offense to win this game? Number one, let me just give you guys a summary, because I feel like this is important to know. Their way to win the game, the way they're going to want to win the game here on offense for the Browns, I think it's the same way the Steelers kind of want to win on offense. They want to establish short and intermediate passing game. They want to run the ball. They want to maybe try and get outside the pocket with play action pass. They want to get third and second and shorts. They want to limit the pass rushers that they have. The Browns are going to want to limit TJ Watt and Highsmith. That is going to be their game plan. Simply kind of what the Steelers kind of want to do. Get in second and third in short situations. Run the ball well so you can set up the pass game. Keep your quarterback in a good position. Establish some play action passing game. Establish the short and intermediate passing game. That's what the Browns offense is going to do. Now, what the Steelers' problem is the Browns defense is good at limiting that stuff. The Browns want to do probably the same thing. And what's good for them and what's the opposite of the case for the Browns offense compared to the Steelers offense is the Steelers defense isn't good at limiting this type of stuff. The Steelers are bottom 5 in man coverage graded by PFF. And what do you want to do to be able to stop those short and intermediate routes, especially versus separators and Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper, who are good at separating on those short and intermediate routes? You want to be able to play good man coverage to stop those things and prevent the Browns from getting in second and third and long. Steelers, because they are not good in man coverage, are also bottom 5 in allowing explosive plays and yards per catch in man coverage. They are not equipped well to stop the Browns from doing what they want to do in the short and intermediate passing game. For the Browns, that's where you want to attack. Stick to your identity. Continue to be a methodical team, which you are going to have to do with DTR in this game. We saw them dominate by taking the short and intermediate stuff last game versus the Ravens, because the Ravens played a bunch of zone. So the Steelers aren't going to want to play a bunch of zone to try and stop what the Browns really want to do in the short and intermediate passing game with DTR and their elite separators with Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, and David Njoku. So if you can't play zone, you're going to have to play man, which the Steelers are not good at, which is going to be a problem for them. And at the same time, another thing the Browns are going to want to do is establish a run game, which is third in the league with Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt and Pierre Strong. And what is another thing the Steelers defense is bad at doing? That is stopping the run, people. So what do the Browns want to do is basically the same thing the Steelers want to do. Get in those second and medium situations, get in those third and short situations. They are in a prime time position to do that, not only because they are good at it, but because the Steelers defense is bad at limiting those type of things from happening, because they are bad in man coverage, because they are a bad run defending team. And when you do stuff like that in the short passing game and in the run game, it opens big stuff up down the field. And one thing about the Steelers defense that you can highlight once again is that they're bad in man coverage. And if you catch them on their toes trying to play the intermediate and short stuff, and you try and take a deep shot when they're so focused on playing the short stuff, knowing that they're bad in man coverage and also don't have Minkah Fitzpatrick to prevent those big plays, the Browns could be in store for some big offensive passes in this game. And I believe with DTR's ceiling, I believe he is capable at completing some of these big plays that I think will be available for the Browns in this game, just because the Steelers will pay so much attention to stopping this short stuff that the Browns will catch them on their heels. And the Steelers being bad in man coverage and not having Minkah Fitzpatrick to be able to hit stuff and cover stuff deep will come back to bite them in the butt and result in the Browns really being able to complete on some short stuff. And I even saw in that Packers game, I rewatched that whole game, the Steelers were playing some man coverage, and they did not have Minkah Fitzpatrick back there to help them and save them when they broke down on man coverage. And the Packers, because there was not a safety over top to really help a lot of things go on, the Packers completed a lot of deep plays because the Steelers broke down in coverage. Now, look, man, I have to acknowledge that the Steelers are really good at getting pressure. And that's one of the things that hurt the Browns in the last game was that TJ Watt and Highsmith were able to hit home. Now, will the Browns be able to limit that pressure, especially with Jedrick Wills being out and them starting Jerome Christian? But Duan's going to be out there, so he's going to be able to do his thing. So I'm not worried about that. But TJ Watt will do his thing. Can the Browns limit the Steelers' pressure, though? Yeah, they will. They will, because I believe that in this game, because there will be more focus on the short and intermediate passing game, because they will have success in being able to get the ball out quick in those areas, because the Steelers are bad in man coverage and the Browns are good at getting separation versus man coverage in short and intermediate routes with Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper and David Njoku, who are all great, good route runners. They'll be able to get the ball out quick. And when you are able to get the ball out quick, that limits the amount of sacks that the Steelers are able to get on you. Therefore, I think the sacks are going to be able to be limited, guys. Look, TJ Watt's going to get him a sack. Highsmith may get him a sack. Hayward may get him a sack. If you can limit the pressure, you can limit the sacks, you will be good in this game, because that's one of the only things the Steelers can rely on to win them games on defense, because they can't do much of anything else. The Browns will be able to limit what the Steelers really like to do on defense, and can also be considered the only thing they really do well on defense other than getting turnovers, which I also don't think they'll be able to do well in this game, because the Browns will be cautious with the ball. So the Browns will be able to get the ball out quick, and therefore that will limit the amount of pressure and sacks that the Pittsburgh Steelers defense will be able to get on you, resulting in the Browns not getting behind the sticks. It'll result in the Browns being able to get in those third and short and second and medium situations more often than not. The DTR turnovers are going to be limited. Pittsburgh's probably going to commit to some things underneath, and the Browns will be able to take advantage of bad man coverage and no Minkah Fitzpatrick and have some things over the top. Ladies and gentlemen, because we'll be able to have a good game managing quarterback, a good methodical offense, a good defense that has no flaws and be able to make a play on every level, the Browns are going to win this game in Cleveland in week 11 versus Pittsburgh 21-10. The Browns are going to score 3 touchdowns. They may score a field goal to bump that up to 24. They're going to hold the Steelers to 1 touchdown and 1 field goal. And the Browns in week 11 are going to get the win, move to second place in the AFC North, move to 5th place in the AFC playoff picture, and be closer and closer to clinching a playoff spot, and be closer and closer and really hunting for that division title, everybody. This has been Malik Hicks, aka The Ranker. Dogs by the Sword signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.